Hey everyone, welcome back to Keeping Up with the Chaldeans. I am Junior Binno, along with my co-host Anthony Toma and our great guest Jonathan Elias.
Hello, everybody.
Some of you may know him as Pastry Guru. You may know him as John Elias or Jonathan Elias, whatever it is. He's got some of the best sweets that we see around. So we're here to talk about his business and some of the stuff that he's gotten done throughout the years in his baking career. So welcome on. How you doing, brother?
Good. How are you?
Good, man.
Thanks
Good.
for having me, guys.
Good to have you, buddy. Good to have you. So let's get into talking about, first of all, where Jonathan Elias began, with some of the career stuff with this and going to where you are today.
So I guess I'll say I started as a child. I was always very artistic. I always had a thing for art. And I always said as a child I was going to be an artist when I was growing up. And throughout high school, I just took on a joke as making a cake for a cousin.
Yep.
And lo and behold, it turned into a full-on career.
Yeah.
How did the cake come out?
When the
first cake come out?
The first cake wasn't the prettiest thing in the world, but it tasted delicious. And I think that's what got it.
Can you describe it?
If you really want to know,
Yeah.
it was kind of attacking my cousin because of fantasy basketball.
Oh, boy.
I was just letting him know he wasn't very good.
I gotcha. Who's your cousin?
His name is Fahad.
Fed?
Fahad, yeah.
Okay, Fed.
Good. So you made the cake, so they enjoyed it, and then you figured, hey, this is something I can possibly pursue.
So it was just, like I said, more of a joke.
Yeah.
And I was just making cakes. People really liked them. So people started asking me for cake orders. I'm like, okay, this is all throughout high school. And then college came, and first semester was just general basic classes.
Were you charging for these cakes?
For friends and family, no.
Okay.
And then sometimes people would call me, hey, can you make us a cake? I'll just charge them material cost.
And what do they keep these cakes for? Just birthdays?
Anything. Birthdays, little occasions.
Gotcha.
Gag gifts, Valentine's Day, stuff like
that's
that.
cool,
Christmas.
though.
And what year was this? Because there wasn't like social media where you...
No, there
was
wasn't.
Okay.
Jeez,
No
that
social-
was
Okay.
2003, 2004.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Cool. So you're making your way by referral.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Unknowingly.
Yeah, but still.
Literally word of mouth.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
that was started in first college semester was just general classes, and I actually was not considering this as a career. Second semester came along, and my brother was sitting down with me. He's like, "Why don't you try culinary?" And I was like, "That's not what I see for my future."
Right.
Yeah, and he's like, "Why don't you try it? You're really good at it." I was like, "No, it's not for me." And this is like 2:00 in the morning, and I'm like, "You know what?" He's like, "Just try it. You don't like it, get out of it."
Yeah.
So I took my first baking class and my first culinary class, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
They say some of the best ideas come when you can't sleep.
Yeah.
2 a.m., right? So you started this and started what, a little after college, or was it during, and then you just took off and accelerated heavy?
Second semester of college, I started my first culinary program, and I started working at my first restaurant, which was Mitchell's Fish Market at the time. First high-end restaurant, I should say.
Sure.
And
Mitchell's in Birmingham?
No, it was the Village, Rochester Hills.
Oh, okay.
And I've worked at like Cameron
missed that
Steakhouse.
place.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
gone.
Man.
So I've worked at a lot of high-end restaurants, Motor City Casino.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cameron's, so that the cheese, the
carrot cake.
carrot cake there, is that your doing or you're making?
So
or?
I was there for 5 years. It's not my recipe, but I did alter it.
Oh,
Which
you
was
did?
part of my job there was to change the recipes and fix them up.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a famous cake around
Yeah.
here. I mean,
yeah.
It was funny because after I had left, people were always asking. They're like, "Dude, the carrot cake's not the same." I'm like, yeah, because I'm not there.
Yeah.
I knew it right away.
How could they?
Yeah. How do you request that from
I
you?
mean, why can't they make it the same way as? I mean, of course you've been to school and all that, but it's you follow the instructions, right?
So I can give you the recipe if you have any knowledge of any baking. I can give you the recipe, and you can follow that recipe exactly.
But it's not gonna.
But it's never gonna come out the same.
No.
It's literally there's more beyond than just the recipe.
Yeah.
It's your heart, and I love what I do. So everything I made is always.
I love
Yeah.
what he just said. So check this. When we came home, it was a good day. The Reza Maraca was on point.
Oh, yeah,
Okay?
yeah.
She had a little bit of anger. Some situation came up. It was too salty, too spicy, bland as can be.
I swear.
You knew the day was wrong. So the number one thing is the heart.
Some days you find no fat on
No,
the meat.
yeah,
Some days you find-
someday you're
That's
just
a
like
solid
this.
piece of fat.
Yes. So you're completely right. It does come from the heart.
Yeah.
You got to put TLC into it. Plus, you got to have a knack for taste and flavors, right?
And I think that came naturally to me.
Yeah.
I literally the first class I took, it just like I was just catching up on everything. I was always ahead of the class, and it was like it came second nature to me.
So
It's amazing.
You were doing it more artistic at one point, right? When did you kind of turn it from just regular, I baked a cake, to something more designer cake?
Well, going through culinary program, you learn lots of different mediums of the pastry arts world. There's so many mediums, from breads to plated desserts, from chocolate pieces. There's just so much. So you can take all that knowledge and you can just make it your own thing. So there's different avenues of income, especially, businesses. Some people are specifically chocolatiers. Some are artisan bread makers, and some are wedding cake makers like me.
Yep. Which is...
So being one or the other, does it make you a little better or as good as someone else can be in that other field, other part of it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, for me, like, I've been doing wedding cakes for so long, so you start to lose some of the other talents. Not that it's gone, it's still in me, but you're not, my...
Your knack is
yeah,
your
my
wedding
knack is
cake.
my wedding
Right.
cakes. That's I spent all my time and all my learning. And
So how old are you?
I'm 33 now. I just turned it
33 now.
First of all,
so
you
do
don't
you
even look
remember
it.
the wedding cakes that were from here to the other side of the Telegraph?
Yes.
Yes.
You do.
I know you
Those
and I
were
do. Southfield
unbelievable.
Manor, they would
So-
start
yeah,
to
we'd
step
take the whole
up.
lobby up
Yes. I remember those days. Why did we switch?
because it's insane.
Social media has a lot to do with it also.
Okay.
The days of all those little steps and stuff
Yeah.
it's like a fashion trend.
Yeah.
It fades away. And it faded away.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. So what is an average cake taking time for a wedding? Like is it days? Is it preparation? Somebody sees you, and how long?
Sometimes it could take weeks, depending on what you're doing. People don't realize the
You
amount
said
of
weeks?
Yeah.
A wedding cake will take weeks?
Yeah, if you're making sugar flowers can, you prep ahead of time. You can't make them the day before. You can't do them. Yeah. So those need to dry out. Those need to be made. They need to be, colored and.
It's like you're curing it.
Yeah.
You're curing flour into a different.
Now, what do these wedding cakes typically look like these days? Because I don't know if I've...
I see usually more the triple stacks or
Yeah.
four stack, right?
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Not a triple stack. I mean, our culture is a little crazy with the wedding cakes. And,
No.
no,
Not that in
at all.
flowers or anything,
They,
right?
they
None of
love
that.
giant big cakes.
Don't they?
And the trend is fondant and gum paste. That's the thing. Back in the day, used to do buttercream,
Yes.
which was a layer of frosting. Nowadays,
Yeah.
it's fondant, which you actually roll out. It's like an edible Play-Doh.
Yeah.
It's a lot more work, but the look is more sleek and modern.
Yeah.
And that's what's in right now. And I think it's not going to leave for a long time.
Really?
Yeah.
And if I was in preparation, obviously, if it's a wedding cake or a birthday cake, there's different time frames. Like weddings, when they mostly reach out to you months and months ahead to prepare with you, or is
I've
that
had people call me 2 years in advance, which I don't book that early. Wow. But typically, I would say 6 to 8 months is what generally people call me for.
Nice.
And then you always get the random person who calls you a month before their wedding. That happens.
And so...
No.
so
Oh, yeah.
But very less likely in our community.
Yeah,
'cause
yeah.
We're very point and punctual.
So how many cakes or how many weddings or how many orders can you deliver in a month's time? So obviously January's to June's kind of fluctuate, but does it matter to you?
I mean, wedding season now used to be more spring and summer, but lately it's been spring, summer, fall. Fall is actually one of the busiest months now.
Really?
So basically, winter is when it dies down.
What's the reason? Any reason why it changed like that?
I don't know.
More
I've-
weddings.
Yeah. Well, is it that or just
More
'cause-
weddings, less destinations. I mean, it's not like there's 3 Shenandoahs or something like that.
Oh, yeah, that's-
more weddings is a big thing.
Yeah.
And we used to only do Sundays, right? And now we're doing
Sundays.
Saturday, Sunday,
Thursdays.
Friday, Thursday,
I've
Tuesday.
had plenty of Tuesday, Wednesdays.
Yeah.
And the pictures are taken much better, I guess, in the lighting with fall versus
Yes.
even. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fall is honestly, in my opinion, it's the nicest,
Most beautiful.
Yeah, it's my favorite season. So
In Michigan, there's nothing like it. Every time somebody comes in out of
Beautiful,
town,
man.
yeah, you're driving them, and they start looking at colors of your trees
Yeah.
changing and
Oh, yeah.
everything.
You go up north during the fall. It's autumn when the
Beautiful.
when the colors start to change.
the
It's
best
unreal.
photos are in the
Beautiful.
fall.
Yeah.
We talked about earlier that you do some stuff that's nice. It's artistic. You work with cakes and all that stuff. We talked and we touched lightly on it, but I want you to go into it because you are right about it, and I'll tell you why we see it. But you said art isn't really done or appreciated in our Chaldean community like it should be, for us being so artistic from our roots, our history.
Yeah, because this is art.
Yeah,
I mean,
this
it's
is not.
straight
This
up
is not.
art. This
yeah,
is not a cupcake.
No, mine won't look like this, and neither would that. No, I can only eat these things, but never make them look so good.
Yeah.
So talk to us about art and the influence of it.
I recall when I started culinary school, and people said, "What are you going to school for?" It was like, I said pastry arts, and a lot of people looked at it like, pastry arts, huh?
arts.
Like, is that a career?
Yeah.
And I think one of my goals was to prove that it was a career. I never looked at it as a source of income. Like I was gonna be I was gonna become a millionaire off it. Never crossed my mind. What I did enjoy it, and I did love what I loved doing it. So that's what drawed me to it.
Yep.
I guess a lot of people frowned upon it and kind of tried to talk me out of it. You're gonna make a career off this. This is gonna be a life. And I just kept going with it. And I said, I'm not going to let nothing stop me. At one point, I did even second guess myself. I was like, maybe I'm doing something wrong here. But I just loved it so much, and nothing could stop me.
Yep. And we touched, I like that. Nothing stopped you. So you were your own moral support in a way, right? You gave your own self-esteem a nice kick to say, look, I'm going to do this. I like it. It's out of the norm. Art versus being an attorney, art versus being a doctor, pastry, you know what I'm saying?
Which, like, if you look at my oldest brother's an electrical engineer, and if you look at it from his point of view, it's like, he went to that, but he's the one that pushed me to do this because he saw my talent for it, which is the funny part of it all.
Good for your brother.
Yeah.
Well, it's good.
Probably selfish reasons. He just wanted to eat more cupcakes.
Yeah.
Cake
he must have baked him more. Yeah, he must have been one of the testers,
Let's
right?
see what this motherfucker can really do.
Funny story. Throughout college, you take home everything that you make,
Yeah.
So my parents were cussing me out half the time. Stop bringing this back. We're eating it. We're all gaining weight. Okay.
Yeah.
And then I stopped. And then they're like, where's all the dessert? I'm like, you guys told me not to bring any. So I'm like, yeah. So it's like I was...
So you know what's funny? Holidays were a little easier, and God does were a little easier for you because it's Jonathan's making the dessert. Forget Paris and all the other stuff, right?
How many siblings do you have?
I have 2 older brothers.
2 older brothers?
Yeah.
Nice. That's a good thing, man.
And one's an electrical engineer. What's the other one do?
He works like with graphic work for like a third-party graphic work for an auto. I don't know the actual name of the company.
He's an artistic guy
Yeah,
too.
so probably CAD drawing and all that
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
That's
CAD
awesome.
designs. That's a big thing. So you guys all have something going. So you have a story we'd like you to share. I mean, you got onto a TV show.
Two,
right?
Two shows.
Yep. Or I'm sorry, TV network with 2 shows
Yep.
that you went on. So let's get into that a little bit. How you got to it, and what the experience was like, and what the outcome was.
Okay, so I guess I can start with the shows I was on. I was on Guys Grocery Games, which is a 1-episode series, and then Halloween Baking Championship, which was a 6-episode series. I took second in both. But I will say how that started. People always said, John, you should go on TV. You have a personality for it. I never saw it, but everyone always said that. And I never even considered myself to even apply for any of those shows. It was never in my head to do it. Never once did I consider it. I got a random call one day at like 9 o'clock. I was at Kona Grill. Got a call from a California number. And I'm like, I get a lot of ad calls. I'm like, yeah, okay. I ended the call. I'm like, whatever. And then left me a voicemail. I'm like, who's left me a voicemail? All right. I ignored it. And then I get an email to my phone, and I'm like, oh. And it says Food Network casting on the email. I'm like, oh, that's pretty crazy, you know?
Yeah.
I was like, I guess I should have not declined that call, you know? I called her back and everything. And so originally what the show they wanted me to apply for was Spring Baking Championship. I went through the whole casting process, which is literally like auditioning for a movie.
Yeah.
You are doing phone interviews, Skype interviews. They want to see your work. You're trying to present yourself as not only your talent, but your personality.
Yep.
Yeah.
They need the best of both worlds.
Yep.
And I made it to the end of casting. I was told, prepare to leave in a week, but you're not officially on. And then I think 5 days before I was to leave, they called me and let me know I wasn't going. So I was a little bummed out about it. And then a month later, they called me for Guys Grocery Games and auditioned for that and got on instantly. It was...
What were you feeling when the call came in? Even before you got to there, I mean...
It was surreal.
Yeah.
Honestly, it was surreal. Just the fact they even considered me, and the fact that the first time I was like, I got to the end, I was shocked.
That's badass.
Yeah. So the lady who called me for Guys Grocery Games, she was like, we all saw your tape, and we all were kind of shocked you didn't get on. I was like, I don't really know. So she's like, get on. She got me on Guys Grocery Games, and then.
And where did you have to fly out to?
For Guys Grocery Games, we flew out to LA, and they drove us out to where was it? Santa Rosa.
How was it working with him? I like watching the show. You're able to say like in the sense of, is he fun? Is he pretty straight? I mean, he's funny.
He is funny. He's a very nice guy. Everyone thinks he's he's mean, but he's not mean. He means well, you know.
Yeah.
He's just, that's his personality.
Yeah.
So we don't get to interact with them.
Who are you guys talking about?
So
Guy Fieri.
Yeah,
Guy
just
Fieri,
so you know,
okay.
so the viewers, in case you don't know, it's the guy that does diners, drive-ins, and dives.
You guys all know who he
Yep,
is.
he's got the blonde hair, sometimes with the
Goatee.
Yeah, goatee,
Glasses.
tricolored.
Sunglasses.
Yeah, sunglasses always on. So
Drives the old school classic car.
Yep, always.
Yeah.
So he's got a guy's grocery game, and that's what you were on, that show right
Yes.
there. So
So got on that one,
Yeah.
and a year later, I got a call for.
well, real quick, what made you second place though? What was for who beat you and why?
Actually, it was a guy from Farmington Hills.
no way.
Really?
Yeah, he's a local guy too, which was the funniest part.
Yeah.
And why did he beat me? I don't know exactly.
Yeah.
I think I took more risks than he did.
I got you.
He definitely played a little more safe.
Yep.
And I guess one thing I could say is that they kind of wanted me to influence my Chaldean culture into
Yeah.
the desserts,
Yeah.
which I usually don't do. So it was very random for me.
Yeah.
And
So
Now,
do
how
they
did
know
they
what
know what
Chaldean? Yeah.
Chaldean
Yeah.
was?
Let me tell you.
they don't know what it is. They
Yeah.
have no idea what it is.
Okay.
Gotcha.
And you try explaining to them, and they're just like dumbfounded. So they literally asked me all about the history and everything, and I talked a lot about it, but it's very hard for them to portray it on
course it is.
camera.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
Very, very hard.
Yep. It is difficult. Okay. So then from Guy's Grocery Game, you ended up going. What was the next thing?
Halloween Baking Championship. They
Yep.
called me for that. That auditioning process for that was a lot harder because it is a series.
Yeah.
Any series, the contract's way longer. You know, you're there for basically 2 weeks, and it's 6 episodes.
Where was that one shot?
That one was filmed in New Orleans.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
That's weird. It's kind of crazy. I thought they had one central. Like it's almost like it's a studio,
No, it's
right?
everywhere. Wherever the
Yeah.
money's at.
Did that lead you from? I mean, you got exposure on this, so that's pretty sweet, right? Did it lead anything from that? With the exposure?
I mean, I get recognized everywhere.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy. I can't tell you. I travel a lot, and I get recognized all over the place, on a cruise in Mexico, and different states. You name it. It's crazy.
I mean, it's a popular show.
Yeah,
popular goings
but
on.
I didn't think like that.
And it's middle
Yeah.
America to everybody, you know.
What do you mean? Like
My other
it-
castmates didn't deal with it like I did.
Yeah.
Like-
Well, this is during the filming, during the series.
No, after
no,
the
no, no.
fact, I'm
After
saying-
they
So how do
aired
you know
it.
that they didn't?
What do you mean?
How do you know they didn't deal?
Oh,
with
because I still talk to my castmates.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, we're still
cool.
all close. We're also
it? And how many people were on the show?
There's a total of 8 of us.
8?
So every week, one was eliminated. The last episode, there was 3 of us.
has
Did any of them leave the pastry business or? Did,
No, they're all still in it.
All still
Yeah, they're all
okay,
still in
that's
it.
have we ever had any Chaldean on anything like that before?
on the show?
On a show like with something like that, I don't think we have anything with Food Network.
We'll
or,
ask Mary Ramaya.
yeah, yeah,
She'll
she
tell
knows
us.
everything.
She knows everything.
Yeah, do you know Mary?
No.
She's the lady who runs the Chaldean Culture Center. Well, she
Oh,
did. She's
I
retired.
think I have met her, actually.
Yep, very very nice.
We
ma'am.
misspoke on a show.
Yeah.
And she watched the show, and we got an email. We misspoke. We said, "Oh, so you're the first Chaldean pilot." And then we got an email. Knows so and so.
She blasted
and
me.
it was Junior's
It was
cousin.
my cousin. She said you should have known that. I looked at her. I said, "Listen, I was under the lights. I didn't know, you know."
Too nervous.
Yeah. So, but she gave us a good tour the other day. So I want to talk to you about real quick. I know we're jumping, but you said art, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we talked about that too. A lot of stuff within the Chaldean Culture Center, the art that was done was not by any Chaldeans. So that's like, it's when you're saying that you're doing this and taking that road, you're doing what we saw the historians in our civilization did. Like,
Did.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, so that's what. So I agree with you. Art is a big part of our culture. Just and when we drop that interview with her, you'll understand as a whole in our community what art is to us in the Chaldean community.
And it's crazy. After the show, I didn't realize how many people were actually interested in it. Because
Yeah.
I get a lot of like parents bring their kids to me, and
That's beautiful.
it's like they say I'm an influence to them. And
Yeah.
me to influence a kid to go for this career, it's like
Yeah.
That's
it
cool.
amazes me. You know,
Yeah, it's
it's
cool.
the best feeling in the world.
It
Yeah,
is.
for
It is.
sure.
That's a good thing. Is these days, I mean, you're a dad, right? You ever cook with the kids and stuff at all? You guys ever get a chance to do anything like that?
Not really. I mean, we started like Allie's starting to make her own jelly sandwiches.
Yeah. Yeah.
Toast it. I want to toast it. I want to do this. So they're getting to that age where they're above the counter and
Yep.
they can actually
Washing
help out.
hands in. Oh, they say
Brooke used to always do it with them. Brooke liked to bake.
a cooking family is a family that sticks together.
And I recall, like, I used to help my mom in the kitchen all the time. I don't know, half my friends can't cook anything, and I
Yeah.
was cooking by the age of like 8.
Yeah, it had to be. I mean, I was in the
Love it.
kitchen with my mom all the time too.
100%.
But I mean, it didn't stick.
Yeah,
Like,
you
I
didn't
can
fruition to
barbecue.
it, but you
I
still.
can barbecue, and that's
Yeah.
about it, right?
Does that mean everything extra well done?
No.
Okay,
no,
good.
Never.
I like cooking, baking not as much. It's just more detailed, but I like cooking too. It's a big part of it, and it's a big art.
Yeah.
So when you can please people, think about it as Chaldeans, we always like to, and you sit down and you see the refreshing look from somebody, whether they're eating your cannolis or if they're eating your kati and timmen. My mom ended up getting sick in '91, so I ended up starting to take on the cooking for all my siblings. I lost my arm in '99. That's been my biggest pain in the ass, is just having to depend on who's my sous chef,
Yeah.
who's gonna chop things, who's gonna
Chop it.
because you know, like, when you
Yeah.
got that knack and you know flavors and you get it. I don't care if you want me to make dolma, I'll make it for you. If you want me to make kati and
Really?
timmen,
You're down
yeah,
like that?
whatever you want me to
No
make, I'll
shit.
make it for you.
Wow, that's
It's just
amazing.
somebody's got to be there with me to help, and
Right,
Omar
right.
is not going to be that guy.
Yeah, right.
I can't see him with a knife
Right.
chopping things. So good. So after this whole event with Food Network and what you did with that, where are you standing today with everything? You're busy as can be. So
I'm super swamped. Right now, I'm only doing wedding cakes. I just don't have the time. I don't have the labor force. It's mostly me. People don't realize how much I'm actually working. I'll be at the shop till 5, 6, 7 in the morning. It happens all the time. Just trying to get my work done. So, I'm limited as how much I can take. So right now, I'm at that point where I think it's time for like a storefront. Right now, my spot is commercial.
beautiful. I
Yeah.
was going to get to that. I'm glad you're getting to that
So right
point.
now, I'm very it's just a
Good.
commercial spot. It's by appointment only.
Yep.
Come in, do your tasting, your pricing, and all that fun stuff, and then
What city? What area are you in?
I'm in Troy.
Okay. So you do everything out
a
of
couple
there.
miles from Somerset.
And you're going to be flowing into a storefront, or that's what it is at this time?
The storefront will be different whenever I
Yes.
decide to do it. It's
Can't
not
wait.
going to be catering to weddings. It'll
Yeah.
be different, but
Yeah.
What's your vision for that? If you can share it, or is it too soon? You
it's
don't
too
wanna...
soon.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
But at
I'm
least
not
will
at
this
that point
stuff be
yet.
in there where we can at least just okay, no
Maybe,
secret.
maybe
though.
not.
Maybe not. Okay.
What about area? What as far as areas?
Yes,
What are
yeah.
you thinking of?
I really like the Troy area.
Troy,
Um,
Central.
yeah, it's
central.
very central. I have a lot of east and west side clientele, so I
Yeah.
like to be able to be in the center. I don't want to have someone have to drive 45 minutes or vice versa, So
Have you had the
Side.
opportunity yet to do anything at Wabeek yet at all? Have you because we just as Chaldeans took that over. recently.
I've done a few smaller event cakes back
Yep.
in the day there. I haven't
Yep.
done anything recently, but I do
Okay.
know we took over
Good.
that.
That helps guys like you guys. That's the thing, is the expansion of the
Yeah.
business. Now you have two good
Another
facilities.
So
avenue.
now, where do
Yep.
most of your cakes go? You make the cake and then they go off to where?
Oh, Shenandoah and Pennas.
Shenandoah and Pennas.
Shenandoah.
Shenandoah
you-
and Pennas, hands down.
They're so big that you have to deliver them yourself. Right?
Yeah. I mean, I always have someone with me delivering
Uh-huh.
a cake, but I am one of those people that I deliver 99% of the cakes.
Okay.
God forbid I can't be here.
Yeah.
But I'm a control freak. I'm very OCD with things.
Good.
You're an artist, brother.
Yeah, I can
that's
tell.
amazing.
Yeah, I'm
something-
saying to you,
yeah.
you're an artist, man. Nobody can touch that drawing like you, right? So
So when I set up a cake and stuff, something will I'll notice something and I'll go fix it. I'm like, what are you looking at? And I was like, there's a little thing I got to fix there. They're like, you can't even see it. I'm like, well, I can see it and it bothers me. I can't do it,
Right.
start to finish, when you walk into Shenandoah to start everything, what's the setup take you, and how
Oh, it depends. It
Yeah.
depends. Sometimes it could take me 20, 25 minutes. Sometimes it could be there for an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Wow.
If I'm putting fresh flowers on
Any
the cake.
disasters to speak
any
about?
fun stories like that? Anything crazy? happen?
Honestly, knock on wood, I don't have
Good.
any
Well,
real disasters.
My wedding was up north in Bay Harbor.
Oh, you did far.
It was like 85-degree weather out at the time.
Yeah.
Wheeled the cake out, and the
top
top layer just it sat and
Yeah.
it just boom, and they picked it up and they took it and cut out the layer that collapsed and
Fixed
stuck
it.
it on. So instead of having a cake like this tall, it was like this tall.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's wild. Do you ever get into stuff like that? Have you ever do you do outdoor events too for like
I have
weddings?
done a few. I mean,
It's not common with
it's not
Chaldeans.
common.
No,
Yeah.
no. But that's not your only clientele. But I'm
No,
saying
it's
for to be to say like in our community, we're very minimal on those. I like those.
Yeah.
Like what you're saying, your wedding up north.
Yeah.
My
It's
friend
tough.
Nathan did his up there too. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
very tough.
We had to find a place that my mom didn't have to fly because she's not, she didn't
Yeah.
like to fly, and
Yeah.
close enough to, close enough for everyone that you're going to invite to show up,
Yeah.
and then far enough that you don't have to invite 700 people. We wanted a more.
If I could say one thing, like a lot of people
Yeah.
will try to find a different venue rather than your Shenandoah, your Pennas, your Palazzo.
Yeah.
A lot of these halls can't handle our crowd.
much.
Yeah.
They really can't, and
Yeah.
that's why sometimes people try
Even
different
Doa
ones.
can at sometimes. Let's be real. I mean,
so you're talking size,
tough.
or are you talking about
size and just the
jumping on the floor?
that.
the support of it.
we have our ways, and
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
Some people don't realize that. Like sometimes it's better just stick to what we know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Well,
Yeah,
most
it is.
do, which is nice. It's a
Yeah.
beautiful thing.
You have any good stories? Like, have you been contacted? I mean, are you able to speak on anyone famous maybe you've done for, or some big celebrities or names or anything? Are you able to touch on any of that, or if you even tell us if you've done it, which is fine.
Yeah,
but I'm
I
saying-
could. I've done for numerous football players at the time. I haven't done it in a long time. Stephen Tulloch, I did a lot of things for. Nate Burleson, James Ada Hegbo. I did a lot of things for. There was another guy who had a denim line. Oh my gosh, what was his name? I can't. Joe Ferris.
How were they
Joe
finding
Ferris.
you? Like, were you?
Word of mouth. It's
That's
like
all it
one
is.
thing always leads to the
Yep.
next. I meet
Yeah.
one person who puts me in connect with this person, and then this person calls me.
Do you know
It's-
why? You do great work.
I
They
mean,
wouldn't
thank
call you
you.
if you did just
Yeah.
average work, right? Let's be real.
That's how it's always started. It's
Yep.
literally been like everything from my whole career. It's always been one thing led to another. I feel like God's always pushing me in that path, in that direction. It's like
Yep.
He opens a door and just another door opens after that. And
Just
it's-
curious, do you do one or the other? Like, if so, like I'm going to get married and says, you know what, I hired a cake person, I didn't know the wife this, but can you do my dessert tables and everything? Is it a combination?
Okay, so I used to do that and I had no issue with it. Just now it's supply and
Overwhelming.
demand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to give the opportunity to my current clients. If I have the availability, I'm more than happy to do it. But right now, at the current moment, it's just difficult.
I have an idea.
Yeah.
Raise your prices.
I guess
Your
that was
quality work, man. It's
Thank
not.
you.
Raise your prices.
Listen,
Plain and simple. Raise your prices.
you know, we did the interview for Lorena and Lisa, you know,
Okay.
and for their kidney the donor program.
Yep.
I saw you at the party
Yep.
there. You did a great job over there too. I mean, people knew you. It was wiped out when I got there.
So you do take some pastry orders?
No, that's different.
No, that was yeah.
That's different.
He does work with Lawrence and Andy. You know, the
Yep,
groups go hand in hand. You know,
Who are Lawrence and Andy again?
they're these two guys.
That nobody knows. No Chaldeans know.
No.
Oh yeah.
Have
Just
they
a-
ever done weddings?
real
Have they ever
quick-
done a wedding or an event?
I just for a quick funny story, because Andy will probably never say it, but I saw him last week for a wedding.
Yeah.
He does my ties all the time. Okay, because I can't do my tie.
Yeah.
So I get there and I catch him. I caught him sneaking around the corner real quick. He was doing it on his phone. I said, Andy. I hid by the bush. I said, please, you got to do my stuff. Well, he did it because this is going to lead to this. But he did my tie, and you know when with two hands you pull the jacket together to try to see how
Yeah.
it looks. He did that. He did that, tugged again, and it wasn't
Too tight.
It wasn't closing. So when he just brought all this, I said, man, I haven't had sugar since Saturday. He goes, you chose this time to. I said, it's cheat day.
You waited
It's
for
cheat
the right
day.
time.
It's
Yeah.
cheat day.
Yeah.
But yeah, those guys are great guys. You guys,
So why'd you
I'll
bring
do
this
well.
stuff? Why didn't you bring us a cake, man?
who's getting married? Who's getting married? Yeah.
You would, if I
Mark,
brought in a
you-
cake, it would cover the entire screen.
Right,
Yes.
right,
It
right.
would cover the entire screen. I just figured I'd bring things that these are kind of some of the flavors I work with.
Yeah.
Like the Oreo.
Yeah,
in
let's
front,
talk
you'll
about
see.
which way you want to go from. Let's talk about.
Oh, let's
some
start the
of
right. Okay, so that was just one of my favorites, peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah, I
I
can
just
smell
decided
it.
you guys to make it.
Oh, it's amazing.
Unbelievable.
So the cannolis, I do a cannoli station,
Mm-hmm.
and I figured that's something you guys would see. The newest thing I've been doing, creme brulee station, and so we torch creme brulees on site for the guests.
Beautiful.
And they've been going crazy for that. And then the Oreo mousse, it's one of my, I think, fan favorite
Yeah.
flavors.
Yeah.
They will go crazy for it.
Yeah, I like your little vanilla or white chocolate
Oh, with my
your,
logo-
yeah,
my
with your
logo on
logo,
it.
man. That's kick ass.
It's actually edible.
Yeah. Thank you.
Sure.
That's a great way. That's art.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
so
our-
that's a little different. That's actually printed by
Yeah,
a manufacturer, printed right on the.
But it's
chocolate.
food. It's
It is.
food
It's
grade print that you can use.
Yeah.
But it's art made where you were able to do this.
Put it on there.
What's in the front? What were those again?
Those are like cake slices. That's what you'd be served at like a wedding.
Oh,
Gotcha.
okay.
So when you actually get the cake cut and served to you, that's how it
Yep,
would look.
Yep. So do you guys handle that? I never knew who
The banquet halls are in charge of cutting the cake.
Got
We
you.
just deliver and set up. And they
put the
cut
little
cake.
perfection touch
Yeah.
and you walk out and that's it. Your hands are free.
That's
after.
it.
Good.
So Cake Boss, this show,
Yes. I've met him before.
You have?
Yep. Buddy.
Oh,
Buddy
that's pretty
Vlastro.
cool. Is that what your storefront's going to look like?
No. Cake
We're gonna
Boss
get it out of him
is
one way or
Cake
another,
Boss
right?
is on a different level. He's
Jeez.
like,
Is
you
it?
gotta realize that's been in his family for generations.
Yes.
So it's like a thing.
Insane.
It's authentic.
Yeah.
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 So I met him back. Oh gosh, might be like 8 years ago. They had a thing called What's Cooking Detroit, a show at Palace, and he was on the main stage doing a demo, and they had invited me to come do a side stage demo. So I was doing little
cool.
Yeah, so I could teach people how to decorate flowers on cupcakes and stuff.
Have you ever thought of like getting into like teaching, like offering classes or selling classes?
I get that question all the time.
Of course.
Because
People always
education
want-
is a big deal like these days, especially.
Well, even if you had a Jonathan Elias calling it, well, you had somebody you hired in to teach the kids.
Yeah. The kids love it, and I know that like parents literally message me all the time. My kids want to take classes. Do you teach? Do you teach? So down the road, my goal is to do a little like kids class,
Cool.
but
Nice.
all the proceeds would benefit a charity of some sort in the Chaldeans community.
Nice.
Yeah.
So
Beautiful.
that is something I've been planning. It's just
So when
Yeah,
you're
trying to
ready
find
for
time.
that and you're ready for your storefront, we'll
Yeah.
get you back on. But then we'll come visit
Yeah,
you. We'll actually
absolutely.
maybe do an on-site if you
Yeah.
have
Oh, yeah,
something
for sure.
going.
down the road, that's going to be 100%. That's something
Yeah.
you might want to do.
Cool. How about expansion? Besides the storefront, do you see yourself like you have a good footprint here in Michigan? Are you getting any expansion outside of the state or
It's
anything?
very hard.
Oh, that's.
I have
Yeah.
had
Logistics
inquiries
would be-
about
Doesn't
like
say-
out of
well-
state weddings.
Well, if they
Yeah.
like it, if they came in from somebody out of town says, "I want that guy."
It's tough.
Yeah.
You got to find a kitchen. You got to find all your supplies.
And
You know,
what
I
are you going
have
to charge?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't even
that's
know
true.
how to
Fly
charge.
me
Like, how
in,
do
you're
you
right.
figure the cost of
Yeah.
all the
$100,000.
Yeah, they're gonna see the
there.
cake. What do you mean on the next show? You ever seen a $100,000 cake? World star.
Right?
And the longest like I've driven with a cake is an hour and a half, and I don't like even doing that.
because
It's
you don't know what's
stressful.
gonna happen.
Yeah.
One thing people think this career
Bombs,
is
all
all
that.
rainbows and butterflies.
Yeah.
And they don't realize the amount of stress that goes into making a cake. I do mostly weddings, and it's the biggest day of most people's lives. That's the biggest day. So they're like, you never want to let them down.
Right.
So like that stress, like you carry that on your shoulders
course.
at all times.
How many pounds is a normal sized cake?
I have no idea. Jeez, a lot.
But does it come in pieces or?
Yeah, we have to stack them in pieces. You can't fit it. I have cakes that are 7 foot tall.
And then you have
What?
to assemble them there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who the hell is eating a 7-foot tall cake, and how do you even cut that?
It's
You don't.
for the looks, yeah.
It's for the looks.
They take it down, break it down. Now,
Maybe if I had the munchies,
are
I'd
the
jump
cakes-
into it.
Are all the cakes 100% cake, or are there boxes in there?
It would
and-
cost way too much
Way
if you
too
were.
much.
Yeah.
Oh,
we have
really?
bigger. Yeah. You never do that. Not.
It's like, I mean,
Oh.
I'm
No.
simplifying it, but
Yeah.
it's like a box with icing on it, and then there's cake.
It's still decorated 100% like a real cake would be.
Yeah.
So that's why you're so stressed out, man. You're being artistic, working on stuff, trying to make something out of nothing from a box into
Yeah.
making it.
It's stressful
that's-
no matter what.
Yeah, I'm saying, it's just in general.
It's always like hard to see someone's vision and make it out of sugar. And that's like my main goal is always to be able to do it out of an edible material. If it's not
Yeah.
edible, I don't like working with it because you'll see a lot of times people put fake things on a cake, and
Yeah.
to me, it just doesn't belong there. If it's not sugar, it's not my art form. It's not me.
So your work ethic, how many hours do you average a weekend? Just so you give somebody the drive. If you're doing 50, 60, 70, what are you doing?
Yeah, it's another question I don't know how to answer because how do I answer a question when what do you consider work? If I'm ordering materials,
Right,
if I'm on the phone with clients, if
Yep.
I'm meeting clients, if I'm at
Well,
the
let's
shop
say
baking.
average time baking, then average time baking and putting together your.
If you're worried about the hours, then don't get into this business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, what I'm saying, he's just to
basically
show
what's
people
gonna
he's a hard
happen.
worker. Yeah, I'm with you.
100%.
I mean, you're talking in a day. I've done days of 20 hours, 20-hour days.
That's what I'm saying,
And
like,
literally,
that's-
I will sleep for 2 hours and then
Yep.
come right back to work.
Because the demand, you got to.
I purposely picked where my shop close to where I live because I leave really late and I'm off no sleep.
Yep.
So I want to be as close to home as possible.
Yeah, don't do what I did. I
Yeah.
fell asleep driving. Don't do that, man. It's very
And-
easy. You get tired. You know what I'm saying?
When I first started this,
You
I
get
was
exhausted.
falling asleep on the wheel a
Yeah.
lot, and
It's dangerous.
Be careful.
So you said the word edible a few times, and in our community these days, edibles means something else.
yes,
Is there any chance you know anything about that kind
Or
of
whatever.
edible?
Get into that arena.
I can tell you, and I've never ever made anything. Never even tested it. Can I do it? Obviously, I know how to do it. It's not hard. I
Have you been
all the skill
approached
set.
by? I'm sure.
I can give you a list of 50 people that's approached me. I get asked that question all the time. Investors.
My first and last name.
Yeah,
You
it's
give that-
literally. I'm approached all the time about it, and
I'm
you're
sure.
talking years and years and years. This has been an ongoing. I've had people actually ask me to make an edible cake
Yeah.
for them.
Right.
I refuse. I just don't.
No.
Edible cake for their wedding?
No, not for their wedding. Just
Oh,
for them
just
to
in-
have. Just
Yeah.
Right.
And I don't do it. I don't do
No,
it.
this
Let's
is your
just
forte, man.
Get all the guests high.
Yeah. This is your forte. You're doing well with it. Why?
beautiful.
Why change the knack on there? Any Any shouts out? Anybody that you said you work with Andy and Lawrence. We know them. I mean, they're just great guys. But anybody else in our community that helps you or gives you a hand in
you have
business
to
business?
There's so many people in the business.
Yep.
Of course, Andy and Lawrence.
Yep.
They were the first ones that I actually helped. I always say when I first started the career, I was 24 when I got into the wedding business, and no one showed me the time of day. Not one person.
Really?
Yeah. Everyone kind of brushed me to the side as this young guy. I remember going into it, no one showed me
who
any.
were the big guns back then, like that
when
you would
I was
say,
getting into
one
it,
day
was
I'll
Haytham.
show you.
And that's Renee's brother. Renee's the florist, and she's great too. But yeah, Haytham was big in the day. He doesn't do it anymore. I think he's retired from cakes completely.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, no one really showed me time of day except them. They every time I'd show up to a wedding, they were always showing me hey, okay, this is where you're setting up. No one else really paid the attention. Yeah. But I mean, there's a lot of people.
That's why they're the best.
Yeah.
That's why they're the best.
I mean, there's a lot of others who are great in this business too.
Yeah.
I mean, can't single them out only, but there
Yeah.
are other great coordinators, other great
Sure.
florists, and there's
yeah.
so many people in it. But I just remember being 24 and starting weddings. I honestly never saw myself doing wedding cakes. That was not something I thought I was going to be doing. I started in restaurants as a pastry chef. One thing in Michigan as a pastry chef, if you want to live off, if you want to make a living off it, it's impossible. There's no the income is not great. I was making $15 an hour after 5 years of working for a place, and with a degree. And what is $15 an hour going to get you? I know people who have no degree making.
Yeah, my manager at my store
100K.
makes about 19 an hour right now, 20 an hour.
So that was that really hurt. And I said when I was at the restaurants, I was at Cameron's in Hyde Park. I was at Hyde Park also for 5 years.
Nice.
And so when I was there, I said, I'm going to start doing cakes on the side. And that's how it really all started. It went from there. It started with smaller occasion cakes, birthdays, and me just doing crazy things, and then engagements. And then I did one wedding, and next wedding, and it just blew up.
Beautiful.
My phone would not stop blowing up.
Really?
Good.
Yeah.
Good. That's good.
So when someone sees a wedding cake, that usually, I mean, it's usually standard. Like everyone knows the wedding cake was, the white inside or the white cake with the
fruit
frosting, and then
fruit sometimes.
so once in a while it was fruit. Yeah. So they used to pack it up in napkins and take it home.
That was how they did it back then.
Yeah.
They didn't actually cake on site.
Yep, pack it into sandwiches. I mean, the
God,
things
you're
to take it
bringing
home.
memories back, bro.
And then they take a chunk of it too, like for the year later or whatever. So, how did people decide to start saying or asking about who did this cake? You know what I'm saying? So how would they know it was you and not just another?
Yeah, do you have a symbol? You're
just
saying
not another wedding cake.
If I could speak on what I do,
Yeah.
I always try to push the boundaries with flavors. I don't like to stick to your basic custard and fruit.
Right.
I always talk people out of it because it's just so done.
Mm-hmm.
I do different flavors and people compliment them all the time, and that's where the compliments come from. So
Gotcha.
I feel like. And it's my work style too. I'm very, very clean cut with everything. I just how I work, and I think it gets recognized. And people always say, I can always tell this when it's your cake. I mean, that's the
right.
biggest
But back
compliment.
then they didn't because they
didn't know who I was.
Right? They didn't know who
They
you
didn't know
were.
who I
Yeah,
was.
exactly.
I tell you this: before I got on TV and all this stuff, people used to come into the office, and they always walk in. They're like, I expected you to be some old guy.
Yeah.
I used to get that all the time. Like, I'm shocked you're this young guy. And I was
Bro,
like,
you know when I met you?
Come back in 30 years, I'll be that guy.
My man, when I met him at the Strides for Seminarians. That's where I met you at. We're sitting there talking. And I'm looking, I'm like, man, this guy's young as hell. Look at this 25-year-old over here. She's sitting there talking to me, and she's telling me, yeah, he's done this, he's done this. I go look him up. I'm like, man, this is a young little dude over here. I'm like, man, look how good he is. He's doing all this, and I'm thinking he's only 25. So,
I'm 24 in my head. I say it all the time. So
yeah,
if you
I'm stuck there too.
Okay,
Don't
in my
worry.
head, I'm 24.
Yep.
But I just turned 33 last week. So
God bless. Happy belated birthday.
I can't wait to be old enough to drink.
Yeah, I know, right? What do you mean? They shied me on a Cedar Point ride. Wasn't tall enough. So we're going through our closeout right now. We've covered every basic part of your business, all the way to where you've excelled to in your career.
Is there anything you want to mention that we might have forgotten?
Did we forget
to talk
anything?
about?
And maybe your IG. We know, your Pastry Guru's on there.
Okay, so yeah, it's my Instagram.
Yep.
It's Pastry Guru.
Yep.
You could find me on Facebook, Instagram,
Just
my
straight
website.
up Pastry Guru?
Yeah.
Is that how they reach out to you to make, or is what's a number, or how do they reach out to them? And we're gonna include all this for the viewers.
Okay, so I have my website as well. You can
Okay, cool.
find my email. You can email me your inquiry, and you can set up.
And we'll set all those
consultation.
links up.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I have my website. It's thepastryguru.com. And yeah, that's basically it.
Now, do people mostly get in touch with you through like a wedding planner? Is that like, does someone need an in to get to you, or is
no? There's no in.
Okay.
There's no in. You can call me directly, message me. A lot of people use their planners because that's why they hire them.
Yeah.
But you don't have to.
Right.
I mean, you're talking Lawrence, Andy, June, Sonia. They all like.
Yep.
They say, hey, someone's calling you. I'm okay, but you don't have to. You can.
Gotcha.
Go straight to
Yeah,
you.
you can come straight through me.
Beautiful.
And you don't need to go through.
Plus, they get to
anything.
see you on the day of. You're in the 99th percentile of bringing the work in. So,
And then,
Yeah.
so when are you going to make your own wedding cake?
Oh God, that's a hard question. Hopefully, God willing, one day. Right now,
For you and I
I'm
both,
married
bro.
to my job.
you and I both. Don't worry.
Yeah.
So what's your wedding cake going to look like, or what's it going to
What's your vision of your wedding?
yeah? What's
cake?
your vision of your wedding cake?
That's tough.
Yeah.
And if people ask
You
me
had
that,
to have thought about it.
Or what flavor, at least, is it
Yeah.
gonna be? You know what I'm saying?
you guys are throwing. This is a hard question. It's hard. I can't tell you. I promise.
It has to be at the time, the trend.
Yeah, because it
probably
has
so.
to be the trend, and then it also has to be something that I want, that
Yeah.
I like, I guess, and the bride too. So
Yeah.
she has the biggest say, I guess. That's what it is in the wedding.
That's true. Yeah,
You really
yeah.
don't have a say.
Right. You really
when,
don't.
when the clients come into the office, sometimes the groom will sit next to me. I'm like, no, switch seats.
Yeah.
Because really, they just there to eat cake, write
cut
the check, and that's it. I mean, that's what happens.
Got the check. That's exactly what.
I
it
guess
is.
if you want to close it out, though, I will say this, and I always say to everyone that's considering following their dreams, doing something different, please follow your dreams. Don't let anyone tell you any different. I did it, and it's been nothing but great things for me. It's been a tough
You
journey.
haven't worked a day in your life since,
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
been a tough journey. Don't get me wrong. I have really tough days where I'm stressed out, losing my mind, but I love what I do, and there's
you
no
do a hell
turning
of a
back.
job, man. You do a hell of a job.
my-
For the short time I've known you, I'm saying it's only been a few months. I looked at your stuff, and we follow each other on social media, but I see what you've done. It's
Thank you.
pretty artistic, man.
Thank you.
Pretty artistic.
I appreciate
You
it.
wanna-
So, in closing, what does it mean to you to be Chaldean?
To me, being Chaldean is family.
Yeah.
I would say Chaldean, we are a small family. I mean, in the end of the day, we are all family.
Yep.
And we all are attached to our families. And that's a lot. I think that, I feel like we're losing in this world. So yeah, I feel like being Chaldean is family. Like
Yes.
we are family. And this is,
I appreciate that. I do.
We are family.
Yeah, we
I
are.
got all my sisters
Yeah,
with
got
me.
my brothers, sisters with me. So it was awesome.
Cool.
Yep, it was great. We can't wait to see you at more Shenandoah events.
Yeah.
I want to see you everywhere though, and it's good to know you and put a nice face with this product.
Did you want to put some fire on one of those?
yeah, I can. You guys want me to?
Yeah.
Do it.
Let's do it.
Grab that.
You're going to have to cut it because I have to get the stuff out of it.
You got it. You're good. You can keep it rolling. We're good. We're bringing out the fire.
Mm-hmm.
I had to bring it.
Yes, that's okay.
I'm going to have to take these batteries off though.
Cool. Here. You got
He does this for a living, Junior.
Yeah, I know. Look at me stepping in with one hand, think I'm going to control this.
Should I do it there or here?
Wherever you'd like, he's got the camera on you, so you're good.
It does do it back here.
Cool.
Yeah.
So should I put the whole sugar and everything on it too?
Whatever you like.
Yeah, yeah. Do it like you're prepping.
Burn your mic.
No, we're okay.
Get this out of the way.
Okay, so this is a basic creme brulee.
Yep.
So creme brulee stands for creme, which is obviously the custard, and then brulee. Brulee means to burn, and that's what we're doing, and we're bruleeing the sugar.
Cool.
So some people tell me, oh, I don't want the sugar, so you're just having a creme. There's no creme brulee then.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, no shit. Is there a particular sugar that you use? Or
This is a sugar in the raw.
okay, like
The granules
turbinado?
on it, huh?
Is that like turbinado? Or it's raw sugar?
Sugar in the raw.
Sugar in the
So
raw.
it's the granules are less processed.
Yes.
If you can see that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it just gives it a nicer crust.
Yeah.
You can also use dry out brown sugar with white
Yeah,
sugar.
yeah.
And food process it and sprinkle it and do that too. But just like this.
Yeah, it's
Gives it a
one-
nice color.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Okay. So
That is great.
Yeah.
So,
So what
you do
happens
this
is-
at the events?
yeah, I
Like-
do this right at the events.
like that.
And then we
Awesome.
put their choice of berries, like you see over there.
Buddy. Let's smell right now. You just can you slip it this way a little bit more?
And what's happening is called caramelization.
Yep.
And what's happening is the sugar starting to caramel.
And that's
And then
when you
how
just
long
take
before you can eat it?
right away.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah. It's all you, big homie. Take the spoon, crack it open, and there you go. You got some Jonathan Elias creme brulee.
Creme brulee. Cool.
What's Belle gonna eat?
She was eyeballing those cupcakes
Yeah.
before we started.
And the good thing about it is we got enough time to get her to bed later, where it's not gonna be too much sugar.
Well, we got Allie and Blazer here
Yeah.
too
Should I
now.
top them?
Are they?
Yeah.
Can't wait.
You want to top?
I
Yeah.
guess I can.
Yeah, let's just show like how we.
Cool.
That's hot.
This is butane fuel for anyone that can't read.
Just be very careful with it. Don't burn your lips, your hair.
So these are more like commercial grade torches.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't recommend the average person at home
No.
use
Using it.
those.
Yeah.
No,
Because
no.
they'll burn themselves.
No, they
Yeah.
need that little black one with the red button on it.
Yeah,
that you
the
can get
little tiny ones. You can
yeah.
get those from like Bed Bath &
Yeah.
Beyond. I think like Meyer and stuff sells it nowadays.
Yeah.
But I don't recommend people getting.
Using one of these.
Yeah, because they'll probably burn themselves. It's
Wow,
really,
that's-
really hot.
Yeah.
and It's crazy. It's more obviously commercial because we do hundreds of these.
Yeah.
So we can't sit there with the little.
Right.
Beautiful. So
Beautiful.
we got this.
Way to close it out.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for joining
Thanks.
us
Thank
today.
you guys.
It was
I
awesome.
appreciate
Keep
you guys
up the
having
great
Awesome.
work. We appreciate you doing what you're doing in the Chaldean community.
Thank
Oh,
you.
yeah.
Thank you.
you guys.
Thanks. See y'all.
See you.